Good afternoon, all. I want to thank you. I want to thank the first Binational Summit of Afro-Descendant leaders for having me today. Clap it up, exactly. Follow the leader. I want to thank the country of Colombia for coming. I've had the pleasure of going to Colombia twice within the last 6 months, and speaking about the diaspora is a constant conversation that I've had since the 90s when I enlisted in the military. So being able to see it come full circle right now says a lot, because we are certainly all branches of the same tree that have the same root. So I am a transplant into Atlanta. I am originally from New York, of Puerto Rican descendants. Any Puerto Ricans in here? Any Puerto Ricans? Is New York in the house? Yeah. New York's always in the house. There we go. I needed that. There you go. So that being said, Atlanta has adopted me, and I love it dearly. And this being the birthplace of the civil rights, I think it's only right for us to have real conversation. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my culture. I'm from the Bronx. So when I say ayo, I need you all to say aye. Can y'all do that? Yeah. Let's try it. Ayo! Aye. Very good. I was surprised, actually. I thought it was gonna be low. It was that Latino energy, right? Yeah, that's right. Clap it up for yourselves one time. All right. You see, the season of hope had me wishful. The season of change had me switch too. I went from a bald-headed, racially ambiguous, 6'5" articulate transplant from Maryland to looking like the indigenous before the transatlantic labeled me an immigrant. I moved to Atlanta to raise my kids in the mix of it. I'm enraged by those that proudly state their differences, impassioned by you all that want to cast aside those differences and use the same brush. You see this hair, it's not a bundle. It waves for the tides of change. A Hispanic that sailed across the Atlantic to see his brother and foolishly called that man a slave. In winter, my skin starts to look sickened and shamed. By summer, it's inspired to those red undertones reminiscent of the tribe from which I once came, Taino. I'm a genuine artifact. Oh, this art is fact. You see, it's hard to speak about race without sounding whiny. No matter the time and place, it always seems untimely. Now, I would like to borrow the ear of one of my peers, but the same point of view would only further blind me. Now, I would like to speak to somebody white, but their blind spots have them come across kind of high and mighty, and my pride won't let anybody address me as if I'm tiny. The conversation typically goes like this. Why do black people do X, Y, and Z? I'm sorry, that's my impersonation. That's all I got. Now this part is me. It's because the A, B, C, D, E, F, and then they say, well, Mario, you're not black, so why the F do you care? Well, if it takes one drop of blood to make you black, I ask how long ago did it take for that blessing to be shared? Because according to the census, Puerto Rican is not a race. It's only an ethnicity. For the sake of their survey, the complexities of my people are met with simplicity. I try to get them to listen to me. But when you try to explain history to the victor, that only comes across as self-pity, or rather pitifully. So I try to personalize the conversation and give them some level of insight into my race relations. Hispanic, Haitians, Italians, Irish, Jamaicans, these are the cultures that I came of age with. And when we were growing up, it was all the same thing. But now, it seems as if the world has gone mad trying to understand the matrix in the absence of imagination. They tag haves as favorites, have-nots as jaded, hashtag trending topics as if that is the true face of our nation. So basically, the morals I was raised with transcend this conversation. I try to remain patient while facing that subtle discrimination that y'all all are familiar with. But some of it is a little bit more covert. Some of y'all may think that this fight is over, but the scent of bigotry for me is a well-known odor. They tell you not to protest or trespass on private property, on stolen land. That has to be the definition of hypocrisy. Now, I never claimed to be Socrates, but by accepting black culture into my life, my children have become a self-fulfilled prophecy. So as a father to a son, I'm tasked to raise a man. I learned a lot from my dad, but this task at hand, he might not understand, because I am just a Puerto Rican that has to raise a strong black man. But for those who understand, there is no color bland. Virtues are transparent, and no matter how much he can't stand it, one day he'll appreciate having both of his parents. No person is an island, because every man is a planet, and the two cultures that converge in his soul speak the same language. I hope to communicate historical anger while remaining sanguine and let them know that day in and day out, it won't be the same thing. So the fight needs to be adjusted. The conversations had in private are very different than those had in public. I look him in his eyes and say, Papi, you better cover for your ideals, because you could ask Trayvon Martin. Unfortunately, not even good judgment can guarantee you justice. Poem. Since we are in Morehouse, this esteemed historically black university, I feel like it's only right to share a poem that I